Hey, what's going on, Purple People podcast fans? Welcome to the show this week. I'm your host, Kyle Smith, one of the four Musketeers that are here. I'm really excited about this. Got the show 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, you remember how we always have the candy bar, like Three Musketeers, and then you watch the movie and there's four inside? I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Oh, I thought you meant like a score bar.
Oh, hey, let's do that now since I've awkwardly transitioned into candy bars at the start of the show. What's everyone's favorite candy bar here?
Oh, you got to go with M&M's. Peanut
Okay.
M&M's.
Is everybody going to go chocolate-based? Or is there like a licorice person here? I need to know in the chat.
Well, you're saying candy ber, so if we're not saying candy, we're saying candy bar.
If someone votes for licorice, you're off the podcast.
The automatic vote out. Man,
I know that black licorice is at the bottom of that list.
Ugh.
That stuff, I just can't do it.
If I have to pick a candy bar, I always like the Mr. Goodbar or Payday. I'm a peanuts kind of guy. Can't go wrong with Snickers. But if it's chocolate in general, I got it. Reese Cups, man. I'm a child.
I like the Three Musketeers. That's my stuff right there.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like Milky Way.
Another solid choice.
We touch all the pressing topics here on the Purple People podcast. You've heard from everyone at this point. I'm Kyle Smith. We have Dorian Foley out in California. What's up, man?
What is going on, everybody? Happy to be here. Oh, yeah.
We have Kyle West, and I believe he's in Iowa.
Hey, how's it going?
And Adam Carlson, you're in Minnesota, question mark?
I am St. Paul, Minnesota. Here I am. We've got people in the chat here, too. We've got Shirizo saying, Skull from, and don't hate him for this, Madison, Wisconsin.
Ew.
Even better. Even better, man.
Deep in enemy territory.
Yeah.
No, I'll forgive him for Madison. Madison's okay.
I like it.
I mean, second worst is Green Bay, and the worst is Milwaukee. So at least he's in Madison.
As long as you're representing the Vikings, that's all that we care.
Right?
Yeah.
Vikings fans anywhere.
Yep.
Well, guys, the impossible happened over the weekend. I bet when we drafted this guy first round, you thought he was going to be a Super Bowl winner, but I don't even know how to get started on this. This is episode 338 called CPatts Ring, question mark.
He got one.
Cordarrelle Patterson left the Vikings, I believe, last year or 2 years ago, and 2 years ago and went to the Oakland Raiders. Didn't do too much there, nothing exciting. New England took him on a flyer, and he is now a Super Bowl champion, of course, because everyone who comes to New England gets a ring or at least plays in a game to win one. So congratulations to former Vikings kick returner and wide receiver, question mark.
A former Vikings number 84 getting a ring with the Patriots. You got to love it.
I know Adam is a really big fan of how Cordarrelle Patterson runs his routes. I believe he called them nice and sharp, really crisp.
Really crisp.
Really crisp route runner. We're being sarcastic. I think he. What did you say?
He runs them off so bad. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Someone didn't silence their phone, I tell you.
It's on my laptop.
We are too professional here. We just can't help it.
That was Patterson calling in to defend his route running.
Probably. Get him in here. Let's talk about it.
He hit that bell notification on YouTube. He
did.
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes. There's a shameless plug here for this podcast. I love it. You can definitely find us on YouTube. And if you're one of those cool people in the chat right now, you've already hit the bell button for the Purple People podcast. It'll let you know when we go live. You can interact with us. Because when you mention something in the podcast, we're going to talk about it. So we'll get to that in a second. But
while we're talking about the Patriots, we got to mention, too, that there are some rumors swinging around that the New England Patriots might be interested in Laquan Treadwell now. So maybe he could be the next Vikings first-round wide receiver to go over there and have some success.
Get himself
maybe we can go drop balls that Tom Brady throws as well. That'd be really cool.
God damn.
I knew you'd appreciate that one, Dorian.
I'm just thinking about that, man. Like, seriously, if Laquan Treadwell goes to New England and then they win another Super Bowl, like Super Bowl winning wide receiver Laquan Treadwell. Oh my God.
That's worse than Trent Dilfer. Like, just the idea of that is just terrible. and wrong.
At least Dilfer played in the game and did some good stuff.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean, T-Jack's got a ring. He didn't do nothing.
it's true. All right, let's jump into these quick hits. We've got a lot of them. This name threw me off because I was like, Deadpool?
Oh, yeah.
Former Minnesota Vikings quarterback Wade Wilson passed at the age of 60. Member of the team from 1981 to 1991, where he played in 76 games. He started 48 of them. Wilson was named to the Pro Bowl in 1998. During his time with the franchise, he threw 66 touchdowns, gained 12,135 passing yards through the air. He is fourth all-time when it comes to total passing yards as well. Okay, my bad. That was a little typo. Total passing yards in the Vikings. So he's fourth all-time on the list.
Yeah, fourth in passing touchdowns as well. Passed away on his 60th birthday.
That's too bad. He was only 60.
Yeah, he had some health issues, though, that were making things pretty complicated for him. But he definitely has his place in Vikings history. Top 5 all-time quarterback, so can't argue that.
For as highly rated as he is, I wish I could say I knew more about his tenure with the Vikings, but to be perfectly honest, I really don't. I'm really not that familiar with him. Are you guys?
He's right in between that area where you've got the Purple People Eaters, which was a big focus. Then you've got like the Culpepper Moss era, and he's kind of sandwiched there in the middle, and it's like kind of the forgotten era of Vikings football.
Yeah, what we say, 81 and 91. I mean, that was before I was 2, so.
Yeah, I share the same sentiments with you, Kyle West. The only thing I knew about Wade Wilson was he was the original number 11, a la Dante Culpepper. So.
Oh yeah, yep.
I mean, but no knock or disrespect. I mean, didn't he take the Vikings to a couple of NFC Championship games during this time? So, I mean, can't sneeze on that by any way,
And he won the Super Bowl with the Dallas Cowboys backing up Troy Aikman.
Oh, very cool. I didn't know that.
Wow.
I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and try to act like I know who this person is. It's really sad, though, just looking at the age, especially being high up in the Vikings passing list like you guys were talking about. But 60 is a relatively young age, so condolences to his family. And thanks for all the stuff you did for the Vikings, for sure.
Yeah, man.
Andrew Kramer of the Star Tribune has reported the Vikings are interested in moving Riley Reif to the guard position. Adam Carlson, right now, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, the floor is yours, Adam.
Yes.
This is draft speak right here. They're starting early. There's no way they pay Riley Reif what they do to move him inside to guard. What they want to do is they want to make teams think they're going after an offensive tackle, try to go after the tackles, leave some interior linemen for them. I don't see this being a play. He's way too much better than Mike Remmers to move him inside. Mike Remmers will be gone. Brian O'Neill and Rafe should be the starting tackles on this team. Elflin returning in the middle, and then we'll see what happens at guard. But yeah, this is some of the earliest draft speak I may have ever seen.
What's Reif's original position, his natural position?
He came into the NFL playing right tackle for Detroit.
Okay, I asked that because with this offensive line, in my opinion, we should just press the reset button and just put everybody in their natural positions. So if Riley Reif could return to that position, then I just say place him there.
Well, the Lions had an all-pro at left tackle. They didn't want to move him out of there. So for the rookie, so he's more naturally a left tackle. That is the better spot for him. Brian O'Neill, right tackle, proved that he earned that this year, I believe.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, most definitely. I agree with that.
And now you're just left wondering what the interior linemen are going to be. And I don't think people are falling for this. NFL teams should not fall for this. They should look at the money they're paying him, and they should look at what's going on. Unless they approach him to take a deep pay cut, I don't see it.
Which they could. We've also seen underneath Mike Zimmer that they're willing to let go of offensive linemen. Alex Boone was brought in. It didn't work out.
Alex Boone was bad. He had a bad season with Minnesota.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
That's what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you're not good at your job.
I mean, he's had good seasons in the NFL. He's played for some good teams. He's had some success, but sadly it wasn't in Minnesota.
Yeah. But the precedent is set for, I guess, if the Vikings wanted to move him and do a pay cut, and he doesn't want to take a pay cut, for them to maybe cut ties with him. I mean, obviously you got to have someone to replace him with, and we're super early in the off season, so we really have no idea what that would be, whether it would be draft or free agency or what. But
but if you're going to pay a guy in free agency, you're going to pay a tackle more than you're going to pay a guard.
Yeah,
on average,
for sure.
So,
yep.
Moving him inside and paying another guy more money to play the position he was playing, I don't get it.
This is why we keep Adam Carlson here on the show. The fact that he's, kind of a writer for a Vikings website, a related website. Yeah, if you need any offensive line questions answered, he is your guy.
He is our guy.
Now, what I'm really curious about is I want an update on Nick Easton. I want to know how he's feeling, how the neck is, how far out he is from taking the practice field, if he's going to possibly be in training camp. I need to know this information because I need to know how bad off the offensive line is as far as how many bodies they need on the interior of that line.
I agree. I'm a big fan of Nick Easton. I thought that he's an underrated kind of tough player for this team, and I would like to see him back healthy. Like you said, I think on last week's episode or episode before, with having a neck injury, you never quite know what the timetable is.
Yeah.
Or what kind of, like, when he comes back, will he even be the player that he was when he left? You don't know, because that's a weird, serious kind of injury that he had. So you hope for the best with him, but it's a big question mark. You don't know.
Well, Pat Elflein looked really good during his rookie year, came back from an injury, and didn't look like himself this year.
I would agree. I think he'll look better with another full, you have that off-season, a full off-season to be healthy and recover, instead of training to come back from an injury. Like, he's healthy, he can work forward now. I think that should help him a lot for 2019.
Yeah, getting some more confidence, because confidence for an offensive lineman, when you know you're banged up, when you know you kind of got to take it easy on a one body part or something, that is just devastating. It can play tricks on your mind so bad.
Because he was hurt late in the season before, right?
Yeah, the ankle injury late in the season, and then
that's what it was.
Right during training camp was the neck injury.
Wow.
I'm not an offensive lineman, but I will dress up for one for Halloween very, very soon.
There you go.
Thank you for updating us on Riley Reef. I think we already touched on it. The Riley Reef over Mike Remmers with the two free agents that we picked up. I think we could all agree we'd rather keep Reef than Remmers, correct?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
No doubt.
Remmers should be a cap casualty. Definitely.
Let us know what you think in the chat. Where we should go as far as the line is this year. Where do you want to go as far as the draft? Should it be first round? Is there anybody out there that you know that's floating around?
Do you actually believe that the Vikings are thinking about moving Rafe to guard? Because I'm personally not believing it, but there are a lot of people out there who think that this is a definite possibility, and I don't know. I'm curious to see what other people think.
I agree with you, Adam. We're so early that how can the Vikings have any plan for anything in 2019?
We're 3 days post Super Bowl, and people are already talking about who's going to start in September.
Now, if the Vikings get to the draft and a top prospect left tackle is on the board, then you can draft him and worry about putting people where they're going to be.
For sure. Yeah. We're also at number 18. Like, unless we're trading up, I don't think we're going to get a starting left tackle at number 18 in the draft.
Those are premium position right there.
For sure.
I'm going to tell you right now, the first thing when I thought of when the draft order was set was this is going to be one of those years where Slick Rick moves around again. I don't know if it's going to be up. I don't know if it's going to be down, but he hasn't done that in the last couple of years. But
yeah, we're in one of those spots where people hate when you say best player available, but at number 18, unless you're trading up, you really are looking at, well, who's the best available player on the board?
Unless you're the Los Angeles Chargers from last year and a Derwin James falls dramatically to you, and it's just like a no-brainer, you take this player no matter what the position, it's going to have to be best player available. I think it's stupid to reach for a player that you can damn well get in the second round and shuffle some second round, third round future assets for than to overreach in the first, because that's what a lot of people do out of panic. So, but I don't know anything about that stuff. I'm not a GM, so.
Yeah. Paul Gruber in the chat says that before playing too much with the offensive line, we need an O-line coach first.
No, I believe they do have an offensive line coach that they have their eyes on. They're kind of negotiating with off and on. But there's been nothing official about that going on. So right now you got to wonder if Janoko is going to come back or what the deal is going to be there. But yeah, they definitely need a good voice there. And whatever that voice is has to be able to work with Stefanski and Kubiak.
Yeah, we need some movement on that front for sure.
Is it still weird to think that Gary Kubiak's a part of a team now?
A little bit. I kind of forgot until you mentioned it. Like, oh yeah, that's right.
The two kind of got to work hand in hand now. And I love having experience on the coaching staff. It's one of the things I've always talked about with Mr. West ever since we started. Mm-hmm. The more experience you can have, the better you can have. You can bring in your young, talented people underneath there, let them rise up, have their opportunities. But yeah, the more bodies, more experience, and really more talent you can get to help them, the better.
For sure. All right, we beat that dead horse into the ground. Let's talk about one of my favorite and underrated Viking players on the current roster, Latavius Murray. You know what, Kyle? I've never got to say this on the show. 2 minutes penalty box. Get out of here.
I wish we had one of those like pardon the interruption things where we could push a button and silence someone.
It's the Levitard show, of course, creeping in for my love for that show. 2 minutes, $2. Get out of here. About Matt Khalil, or if we bring up like Christian Ponder again, if he gets brought up again, 2 minutes. No, Latavius Murray. I think we all at the show really like him. I think everyone in the chat really likes him. Not a good year for the running game, period. So obviously he had a down year from the year before, but he said he'd like to return to the Vikings 2019. He's an unrestricted free agent this season. I personally think he's going to do what's best for him, which is totally what I would do if I was a player. But he's quoted as saying, in terms of my future, I'm not sure yet where I'll be next season, but I'd love to come back. I love everything about the Vikings, the team, the organization, and the locker room. I believe in what they're doing here, so we'll see what happens. Keeping it optimistic and professional. I hope he comes back. What do you guys think?
Oh, there's always hope. I mean, in terms of touchdown production, he did better than Dalvin Cook on the year. As far as yards go, they were fairly comparable, except for in the passing game where Dalvin Cook had more receiving yards. But the combination of Cook and Murray is real good. Those two guys pushing each other, that's kind of what you want on a team, is you want that 1A and 1B. You don't want that big gap between your 1 and your 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I think Murray and Cook offer that real well. The problem is Murray might get a little bit more money than the Vikings are willing to pay. But, and this is a kind of negative positive, I guess, running backs aren't really getting paid what they deserve at all anymore.
Yeah.
So we might see Murray kind of slipping under the radar a little bit and maybe taking less money than he should get just because of free agency having a lot of experienced running backs available. And I don't know. I'm just curious to see what the market's going to be for him, because I don't think it's going to be what it should be. But I also don't think that's going to be down in the $3 million range where I think the Vikings would be willing to pay.
You can thank Adrian Peterson for not having running backs being paid. I'm just kidding. The NFL is trying to do a pass-happy league, but I like to put some blame on Adrian.
You can thank Le'Veon Bell for running backs not getting paid.
Hey, I don't care what he says. Somebody's going to unload the Brinks truck for that guy. And it's going to be the Colts or the Jets. Shocking news there. Two highest cap spaces. One of those teams is going to overpay. If he goes to Indy and he's there with Andrew Luck, man, that's going to be nasty.
What if it was New England? Like, what if they're just like, fuck it. Maybe we only have 1 year left with Brady. Let's just...
I would think that, but they have James White and they have Burkhead and all those guys that are super cheap that they'll turn into all-stars. And fuck you, Kyle. Why would you say that? Six times.
I would like for the Vikings to retain Latavius Murray. Adam kind of hit on all the points, so the only thing I can add to that is he's been nothing but solid with us, and I just like him on our team. He gives us a good spark.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a classy player. I like when a player has some class, helps out in the community, shares a little bit of their private life with fans. When he goes on Instagram, he shares pictures of him proposing to his girlfriend, or when they had their baby, he posted pictures of their baby and everything. I thought all that was really cool. It gave you a real nice look into the life of an NFL player, especially one that actually does get some screen time and gets to play. Thought that was fun.
Mm-hmm. Also, I want to throw out that Dalvin Cook still has to stay healthy and on the field for Minnesota. So it's important to have a solid backup for him.
Exactly.
And whether it be Latavius Murray, who I like quite a bit, or
can you trust Mike Boone or Rock Thomas?
I don't think so. I mean, I like them. I like our running backs, but I don't quite trust those guys yet in that number 2 position. I do with Latavius Murray.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's important to bring him back into the Vikings.
Yes. What Kyle said is exactly what I'm going to hit on right now. I think that's what keeps him in Minnesota. I think that Rick Spielman and Mike Zimmer will say that too. Hey, look, these guys are cool and all, but they're on the depth chart at where they are for a reason. And I just want to point out the other thing that you said. I want to pat myself on the back a little bit. Everybody was bitching and moaning last year for fair reason now that the season's over and the emotions are gone, because we went 8-7-1 and it was another shitty year for us. Everybody was bitching, Dalvin Cook, oh, he's always hurt, blah, blah, blah. When that dude came back and he got the wheels running, everybody was fucking quiet.
He's good when he's healthy. He's just got to stay healthy.
But to go back to Adam Carlson, and I'm not lumping Adam in with all those people that are just like, cut Dalvin Cook immediately because Adam's smarter than that. But the guys that were upset about it, and rightfully so, is, and this ties in with the Latavius Murray point, is we don't know when the guy's going to give us a full season, and if that's going to be the only one he's going to give it to us. Unfortunately, and I don't get mad at any player for being injured, because NFL's a fucking caveman sport. You're going in and colliding with people. You're going to get hurt. But the kid's got to stay healthy to be at max potential. And Latavius has stepped in and filled in nicely. Not really too many issues with him. He's not a big cap hit. He's not an idiot off the field. I think that's what's going to keep him on the team, is the number 1 above him gets injured pretty often so far that we've seen since he's been there. And then the guys below him, they're nowhere near the 1 and 2 level. That's why they're where they are on the depth chart.
Well, the scariest part is how competitive Latavius Murray is.
Mm-hmm.
He firmly believes that when he's on the football field, he can compete with Dalvin Cook. And when they're both healthy, he can give him a good fight and maybe even win. And that's the way you have to feel as a football player. You have to.
Tough season for our running backs in general, just because of the issues they had on the offensive line. That didn't do anyone any favors last year.
Thanks a lot, DiFilippo. That's right.
Why am I hearing him attached to Jacksonville?
Bye. Have fun with Blake Bortles.
Have you guys been reading any of that?
No.
Don't care.
No, what drama's coming out about it?
No, I was just reading some rumors that they were saying that he might be attached to Jacksonville as a quarterback coach.
Well, he's the offensive coordinator in Jacksonville, so.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I do remember talking about that, I guess, now that you mention it.
He impressed so much in Minnesota, they said, we need that in Jacksonville.
Like I said.
I remember something now. That was Nick Foles was tied to the possibility of going to Jacksonville.
Right, yep.
Trying to bring Nick Foles.
Have fun with Blake Bortles, bro.
Hey, you say that now, but Blake Bortles is going to end up in Minnesota backing up Kirk Cousins.
I would take Nick Foles any day over Blake Bortles. You out your mind?
No, he's saying he'll be the backup.
Well, Blake Bortles at league minimum as a backup instead of paying Nick Foles $17 million to be a backup. Yeah, that's a little different.
Yeah.
So this one's going to spark some controversy. Let's talk about Everson Griffin. So Vikings writer Ben Gessling reported that Everson Griffin could be a candidate for release as the Vikings look to create cap space. Griffin's cap hit this year is $11.7 million. There's only $1.2 million in dead money. This would free up $10 million in cap space. Before we even jump into that, can we say what is dead money and where does it go? And if they don't have any use for it, I'll give you my routing number.
Dead money is the guaranteed money left in the contract.
Okay, cool. So that's what goes to the player.
Right. The player gets that no matter what. And it counts against the team's salary cap for that reason.
I'm not gonna lie. I love Everson Griffin. I don't 100% hate this move.
Yeah, then you can pay Anthony Barr, like I said, and boom.
Adam.
I joked about it last week, but now it's looking like a real deal.
I'd rather keep Sheldon Richardson, trade Anthony Barr, or let him walk and sign somewhere else and get a linebacker in the draft. I don't know. It's just me. It's really quiet. I think I'm pissing people off. Let's hear what everybody has to say.
I just don't think cutting Everson Griffin for $10.5 million is worth it.
No, I agree.
I come back to the point that you made last week or whatever when you said that who are you going to sign with the money that you save by cutting Everson Griffin that's going to step in and have the same impact as what Everson would. You don't. I agree with you. Like you can, we save money on the cap. Well, unless you have a plan that you're doing something big with it, like I don't know what you're doing. What's the goal here?
No, if this is a situation where like Everson Griffin's having some problems, staying focused on the game, or he's having some physical problems. Yeah, I get it.
Sure.
Let him go do his thing.
That's a different story.
Yeah, but if this is just cutting him because we need salary cap money, what do you need the salary cap money for? That's the big question. If they're going to try to sign a guard with it, you're not going to get a top tier guard for $10 million. And if you do, there's going to be a bidding war on that guy so much that you're going to overpay through the nose.
So I'm going to go down as soon as I can get this video to mute because I don't want this to be super loud when it starts playing on the show.
Yay for autoplay videos.
Yeah, NFL.com. Thanks. But we're going through, and it's from Greg Rosenthal. It's the top 25 NFL free agents of 2019. Defenders dominate the rankings.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm looking here. DeMarcus Lawrence is up there. They mentioned Ziggy Ansah. Those are some options, but we're not going to be able to afford DeMarcus Lawrence. I could see maybe if Jadeveon Clowney's there, an outside linebacker. Trey Flowers from the Pats is going to be there. Frank Clark from the Seahawks. There's a lot of edge defenders on here.
I like.
Well, you'd think Stephen Weatherly would be the option, right?
He's proven it so far, and Brandon Graham from the Eagles. He's been
I would think so
pretty good, but he's been kind of old.
But yeah, they definitely like rotating those players there, and keeping Griffin would be essential if you want to be able to rotate in Weatherly and Bowers and all the other guys they've got on the defensive line, especially if they want to add in extra defenders in pass rush situations. Do a little bit of a NASCAR formation, get some DEs in where the defensive tackles should be. I just don't understand why this move would happen unless they have a big free agent target in mind. I like a game-changing one.
Some big wide receiver target or something.
You never know. New offensive coaches, they all like their weapons. Maybe they'll be able to get like a tight end to complement Kyle Rudolph. I've been hearing tight end a lot for the Vikings lately, and I don't like it. I don't understand it, but what can you do? I've also heard that Kyle Rudolph's making a lot of money and that he might not be around. So you're going to hear so many rumors, whether it's draft speed.
Bell back?
What's that?
I say, can we bring back Blake Bell?
He was good on special teams, man. Kind of missed that.
I was a big fan of his.
If Kyle Rudolph leaves, we can promote David Morgan. I'd be okay with it.
Yes.
Do you guys think it's likely that Kyle Rudolph is going to be gone?
Yes.
I think it's more likely. I think it's more likely that Kyle Rudolph is going to be gone rather than Everson Griffin.
Fuck your community service, bro. Get the fuck
out. Hey, at least he won the charity challenge. That helped. I like that. He got some money for the hospital here in Minnesota, so I thought that was pretty good.
Doesn't matter, bro.
Segue into this next one too. Thank you so much for that, Dorian. Because Kyle Rudolph did not win the Man of the Year award in the 2019 NFL honors. It went to Eagles defensive end Chris Long. I can't say that I'm a huge fan of the guy for some of the comments he made. And he could very well just squash my face on the street if he ever heard me say this. But I kind of thought Chris Long was being kind of a bitch about the Patriots and how much – no, I'm dead serious, man. Like, I'm sure he'd punch me in the face if I ever said it, but it's something I wouldn't tell the guy to his face. You win a championship with New England, and then you complain about it when you go to another team. Like, it's not easy, man. Winning is never easy. And then, he's found a home with the Eagles, and I'm sure the atmosphere is way different in Philly than it is in New England because – New England will cut you and smile while you pack your shit and leave. We get that. But as far as off the field, I mean, this guy was going to win no matter what. This is J.J. Watt-esque. He donated his whole salary this year to help people.
Yeah.
So I know I just backhanded complimented you by calling you a bitch earlier about that, but that's kudos, man. Kudos to you. There's no way you weren't going to win this award. I really want to see a Viking win this award, though. This is pretty cool.
It's those NFL honors, man. Did you guys watch the NFL honors this year?
No.
No.
I watched Steve Harvey's intro, and it was different than what you're usually used to. In his own way, it was pretty funny. I like the jokes more because they rip on people. There was none of that. It was really laid back. Wasn't surprised that Patrick Mahomes won MVP. There were some that were kind of shocking for the rookie categories and stuff like that, but I didn't watch it. I was not interested.
All right, so I got to ask you guys a little bit. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Saquon Barkley. Was it the right decision?
I think so.
Yeah. Saquon did his thing.
I think it was Baker Mayfield.
I think it was Quentin Nelson.
I know why you say that, Adam, and I can't argue with it, but they're going to pick a quarterback because of the position.
Yeah, they won't pick an offensive lineman.
They'll
won't.
never do it, which is sad.
He plays offense. He had an amazing season. He turned that offensive line around in a massive way.
Sell me on Baker.
The most rookie touchdowns ever, and they took the Browns from no wins to 8. That's all you.
There you go. There you go. The cards are on the table.
Dude, look, Baker Mayfield, I think he's a cocky little shit, but he kind of, so far, he has a kind of a right to be. I think he needs to be a little bit more humble, but the man's a Heisman Trophy winner. He did nothing but win while he was at Oklahoma, and then he came in, and I just like the way he plays, man. Everybody's like, oh, he's too short. He's too much this. He's like, okay, cool. Here, hold my jockstrap bike out here and win some games with the worst team in the league. They're like, aren't they the draft pick before us? The Browns are 17, aren't they?
I'm not sure of the draft order.
No, I'm not sure where the Browns are either.
But the Browns pick right before us, and it's 90% of the reason why it's because of that man.
Watch out, one more award question here. MVP, offensive, or AP, most valuable player. Were they right to pick Mahomes over Breeze?
Yes.
Yes.
Drew Brees played like smashed ass the last 6 games of the year.
Yeah, because I think you could put another quarterback on the Saints, and I think they would have done fine. I don't know if you take Patrick Mahomes away from the Chiefs, if they would have had the success. I don't think they would have. Like, Mahomes is something special when he's out there on the field.
You know what it was? You know what it was for me?
Carried them. He literally carried the team, especially on defense. He carried that defense. You know, he made up the difference.
Sure, I get it.
You know what the difference was?
Defense is not good.
The remember when the Cowboys played the Saints and the Cowboys played the perfect game of the season that the Cowboys had ever played, and they beat the Saints, right?
Yep.
Since that game on, before that game, I had Drew Brees 100%. I don't care how many touchdowns you throw. When you complete passes, you don't turn the ball over. That, to me, is what's sexy. That's just Kyle Smith's point of it. But Patrick Mahomes, I've seen Peyton Manning throw 55 touchdowns in a season and still not fucking win a Super Bowl. I get it. Numbers are cool. But once the Saints lost to the Cowboys, they weren't the same. I watched the game in Carolina week 15. They won 12-9 with Cam Newton's arm falling off.
Yeah.
That he was not the same, and I don't really know if it was confidence. I don't know what it was, but from that point forward, Patrick Mahomes, it was pretty easy.
All right, let's bring this around to the Vikings here. Also at the NFL Honors Awards, the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2019 was revealed, and once again, Steve Hutchinson did not make the cut.
That sucks. He's deserving to be in. It's going to be tough for him to get elected into the Hall of Fame, I think.
Yeah, this is the second year that he's been passed up.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a finalist for those 2 years, and I believe he'll be a finalist next year and probably the year after. He's going to have to wait a little while, but I do think he'll eventually get in.
Eventually, I'm hopeful. It's difficult because there's always those big marquee names at skill positions, and I hate to use that phrase to knock an offensive lineman, but in the eyes of most fans, skill positions, or your quarterback, wide receiver, and you know, like a corner or whatever. Like those are your skill guys that people want to see in the Hall of Fame, and it's tough for linemen to get in because you can't put. How do you put together a tape to sell a lineman the same way you can a quarterback or a receiver? It's just difficult.
It is. It's hard.
I hear you, Kyle, but at the same time, numbers don't lie, and Hutch has the numbers.
Yeah, it's also the Hall of Fame. I mean, I don't know, some of their voting for getting into the Hall of Fame, I don't 100% understand. Like sometimes they go by numbers, and sometimes they don't. Like it's weird. The voting for it is weird.
It is. It's very odd how it's chosen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Hutch still has a couple more years of sitting, and I think maybe in 3 years he'll get in.
Yeah.
I don't see them bringing multiple offensive linemen in each year. They'll probably have one, maybe two.
Yeah, it's going to be low numbers for those guys. They don't get any love.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, what do you guys think about Jim Marshall? Do you think he'll finally get
No.
a nod?
He won't.
No. You know how the WWE Hall of Fame has to have their quota for the one dead guy every year? This sucks for Jim Marshall. He's not going to get in while he's alive. I really hate that to say that, but that's how I feel.
Probably.
That sucks.
Yeah.
No, I still can't believe that he's not in. The more I think about it, the more it bothers me. But I don't know. People make mistakes, and his one big mistake holding him back so much
does not overshadow an entire dominant career. And the Vikings didn't even lose that game that he ran the wrong direction in. They did not lose.
Thank you, Kyle. Matter of fact, he was part of the play that won the game for us.
Right?
He made up for that.
That makes zero sense to me. Like Brett Favre going in, and he has the most interceptions of any quarterback. Hey,
right.
You're going to hold all those interceptions? Well, no. You're going to look at he threw 508 touchdowns, went back-to-back Super Bowls, won 3 MVPs, and won a ring. Like, you're going to look at all that other stuff and say, well, we're hanging on to this one stat here. It's like, it's not fair. It reminds me a lot of the stupid-ass guys that vote people in for the MLB, man. They'll just find some dumb reason to keep people out, and they'll just keep them out forever. Makes no sense.
That's unfortunate.
Did Pete Rose ever get in?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, and he should.
That poor bastard's going to be in sweatpants outside of fucking gyms and casinos in Las Vegas selling his autograph to pay rent, man. That's fucking sad.
Him and OJ.
Mr. Juice.
You think you can steal my shit?
All right. Let's jump into the main topic.
To be fair, you'd be pissed off if someone stole your shit, too.
Yeah, I mean, can't blame the guy.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me just piggyback real quick back to Baker Mayfield for 1 second. The Cleveland Browns being the Cleveland Browns, you guys do realize they could have had both Baker Mayfield and Saquon Barkley.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about that. We talked about that when that happened.
Yeah,
we made fun of him for it.
That boggles my mind still.
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out there.
They didn't want to gamble that Baker was going to be taking 2 or 3. I don't think he would have. I'd have been willing to gamble on that.
It's pretty good stuff. And that's about all the Cleveland. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to shield the Browns. The Browns are getting better, man. It's surprising to say, but if this guy getting promoted to head coach can get this crap together.
What's his name? Freddie Kitchens.
Freddie Kitchens. That's a guy who has a hell of a name. I love that.
White guy with a black guy name.
Yep, Freddie Kitchens. Like on the side, he pimping hoes.
He sounds like a bass player in like a jazz band or something.
Right?
He does.
Better have Kitchens money, bitch.
In on sacks, Freddie Kitchens.
All right, I had to let that one ride out for a couple seconds.
I'm sorry, I gotta throw this one. He's gonna be handling the hoes like, hey, Saquon. Oh, not Saquon. I got Saquon Barkley. Okay, Baker, did I tell you to throw that ball over there? Okay, yeah, bitch. What the fuck are you doing? Okay.
You know, if you guys haven't watched it yet, I don't know how well the reviews are going to be, but Steve Harvey hosting the NFL Honors, he did mention Baker Mayfield because he's a diehard Browns fan. He's like, He's got the blackest white guy name ever. He's got Baker and then Mayfield. It's like two of the blackest names I've ever heard. I forget the guys that he referenced. I didn't know who they were, but it was super funny. I had no idea that Steve Harvey was from Cleveland. So if you think it's as bad, even the celebrities out there are suffering as Browns fans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Steve Harvey, he's a diehard Browns fan. So, yeah, he shares his sentiments.
All right, let's do this main topic for this chat because we're never going to get to it because we're going to find other Baker Mayfield shit to talk about.
Hey, it's the offseason, man.
ESPN's Dan Graziano made 10 bold NFL predictions for 2019. I'm going to name all the other teams first before I bring the Vikings talk in here. He's talking about new playoff teams. He included the 49ers, the Titans, and the Vikings. The AFC South starts to look like the league's new power division with Tennessee pushing the Colts and the Texans. And assuming Jimmy Garoppolo gets through the season healthy, another busy and productive offseason should put San Francisco in position to make some noise. I don't agree with that because I don't see how they're going to beat Seattle, and I damn sure don't see how they're going to beat the Rams. So you'll beat the Cardinals. Shit, I think the North Carolina Tar Heels like an hour away are going to beat the freaking Cardinals, but that's fine.
I think the NFC West is closest to the power division as well.
I only like 2 out of the 4, honestly. I don't see the big deal about San Francisco. They have the sexy coach, but now you're worried about your starting running back and your starting quarterback being healthy at the same time, and we'll see. They do have the best tight end in football, though. Shout out to Greg Kittle.
Well, Jimmy G has lost, 2 games in his career?
Yeah, he's got to stay healthy.
As a starter?
Too.
Yeah, I'm on the back. Yeah, I think that was like 2 years ago, though. Whatever. That's old news now. This is the give me now age. I don't even remember that guy's name. Who did he play for? No, it's crazy because he did play a little bit last year. You guys remember week 1, San Francisco came to Minnesota, and he didn't look terrible.
No.
He didn't have it all. Pretty good game overall. I don't know how, man. Seattle always finds a way. They have Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. I always put stock in them. And, the Rams were just in the Super Bowl on Sunday. So good luck over in San Francisco. I don't even want to talk about the Titans. Oh, God, the Titans give me a headache.
Hey, when you got a running back that can get you 4 touchdowns in a game.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was a good game.
Goodness gracious.
So back to Dan Graziano. He's talked about the teams that would make the playoffs. He had mentioned the Vikings, and he said Minnesota's offense will click better in Kirk Cousins' second season there. I like how it's all based on Kirk Cousins.
Well, he's the guy. He's the marquee guy that they brought in, the face of the franchise right now. Like, if we're going to have success, it's kind of got to go through Kirk Cousins. He's the one that's got to take that next step forward for the team.
I think you're right. I'm kind of like, I don't even want to talk about it because it makes me sad because if it ends up panning out not to be a successful 3 years, the 3 years that we rent Kirk Cousins. But I do want to, I would hint more to Mike Zimmer looking at the defense and just saying, hey, man, what the hell happened? Because there were some games there where the team looked confused. I haven't seen that side of the Vikings defense since he took over in 2014, went 7-9. I'm like, all right, I think he's getting them better, but they still look kind of out of sorts. Mm-hmm. They're out of sorts a lot this year.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bit of a step back.
I'm not putting much blame on the Vikings defense. They did some good stands. They had many good games. The offense was just pitiful in so many games. And I agree that it shouldn't all be on Kirk Cousins, but it will be, even though there's a supporting cast of some rotating offensive coordinators, offensive line problems, coaching staff issues, just everything that's been going on with that offense. Getting it all fixed up as well as possible is going to be the Vikings' #1 priority this year, not fixing the defense. That shows you really where the main issues lay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think you're expected, like if you're going to pay Kirk Cousins, and I know that like maybe what you pay him shouldn't really count, but if you're paying him like a top tier quarterback, you expect him to overcome issues that we know the team has. Like, we know there have been issues with coordinator and linemen, whatever, but you're essentially telling Cousins, you need to overcome any of this that will come up throughout the course of the season. And so hopefully his next step forward is that he can overcome any issues that arrive for the team.
I think we're in that weird gray area too, where we wonder, all right, can you feel sympathetic for him? Because the offensive line was pretty shitty this year. We can all agree. Bottom quarter of the league, which really sucked. But at the same time, this is who he was. This is who he's been his whole career. Has he plateaued already? He's a stat patter and a stat machine, but is he a winner? And stats tell me, statistics go around and say he's not really a winner. And now I'm at that point where, do I feel sympathetic, or do we say, no, this baby's ugly, and we'll just call it what it is?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
The one thing we did learn during the Super Bowl, though, is that Kirk Cousins loves avocados from Mexico.
Yeah,
we called that on the podcast.
We joked about that. Kirk, you should call Tom Brady. Maybe some of that avocado ice cream will get you feeling better, and you can go to the Super Bowl and play forever.
There you go.
Speaking of the Super Bowl, spoiler alert, unless you're living under a rock, the halftime show was trash. The game was relatively boring unless you're a defensive lover of football.
I had a great time at halftime.
Yeah, halftime heat.
That was good stuff.
No, you guys had a good time. The halftime show at the Super Bowl was absolute garbage. I unfortunately stuck around for most of it. The New England Patriots won 13-3. There wasn't a passing touchdown in the game, which is unheard of. Lowest scoring Super Bowl ever, I believe. Was that right?
I think.
Yep. MVP didn't have a touchdown.
I think James White was the lone touchdown. A lot of defensive stops in this game. It was really crazy. Julian Edelman won the Super Bowl MVP. He pretty much they tried to take away Gronk. They tried to take away the running game. I think both coaches schemed very well against each other. The funny thing that I heard on Go Look and Wingo Monday after listening was when Josh McDaniels, the Patriots offensive coordinator, was asked, hey, what were you doing to change the game up because they were doing so well? He's like, literally at the end of the third quarter, I just threw out our playbook that we had planned for the last 2 weeks and said, okay, we're going to the huddle and we're going to figure it out. Because the Rams had schemed and planned so good and so well against them. And I believe that's when the touchdown was scored, like close to the end of the third quarter or beginning of the fourth. But the Patriots have won their 6th title in less than 20 years. It's the greatest sports dynasty I've ever seen. It's crazy. I don't know how we're never going to see this again. We're damn sure not going to see it in football. But can we go across the board here? Because there's an unnamed person on my friends list that says Tom Brady's not the greatest quarterback of all time, and he calls him a system quarterback. Can we all just put that nonsense to rest? He's the greatest quarterback ever. Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, what is? Oh, he's a system quarterback. Every quarterback plays in a system. That's not. You can't.
He throws too many short to mid-range passes. Yeah, they're open.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know we were supposed to throw. I didn't know it was Madden where we do 4 verticals on every play.
No, it's Flacco. You just throw it up in the air and hope that everybody grabs everything.
and the thing is about the Patriots is that like they will never be matched, but it's not fun at this point. Like the Patriots dynasty is not fun. Like the Jordan era Chicago Bulls was a lot of fucking fun to watch, even if you're not a Bulls fan. We're all really tired of the Patriots right now, but what can you do about it? I mean, no one can.
Someone's got to stop them.
Someone's got to beat them.
Yeah.
Look what the Rams did. The Rams went all in on this year. They put all their money into big free agents. They made sure they had their young guys all ready to go. And the Patriots just did their Patriots thing. They didn't do anything special. They went in with their experience and kicked their asses.
I know. And as much as I want to sit here and be like, oh, the Rams had a hangover in the same way that the Vikings had a hangover after the Minneapolis Miracle because they knew they shouldn't have won the game and they won it anyway. That's bullshit. The Patriots won. I mean, they won because they were the better team.
Goff's jitters didn't help. I think that his first time being there, that's just nerve-wracking.
I would shit my pants.
That too, and the Patriots defense was so good. You didn't think about the Patriots defense the whole year, and then they sacked Goff in the Super Bowl 4 times. I mean,
what was that?
Brady hadn't been touched.
Stupid.
Tom Brady hadn't even been hit the last 2 games, and they finally got to him. And I think that was the craziest part of it for me. And I'll say this, and it sounds a little hypocritical and ironic, but I don't think the 2 best teams played in the Super Bowl this year. But that's not what it's about. Would I have rather have seen Drew Brady versus Tom Breeze or Drew Brees versus Patrick Mahomes? Absolutely.
Wait. You're on a roll, bro. You said Tom Breeze and Drew Brady.
Did a little name flipping.
Oh, that's it.
That was great.
That was great. You went off on a hitch too.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even recognize. But I would have rather seen Breeze and Brady or Breeze and Mahomes. I think we all wanted that for the entertainment of it. But what Kyle said, the Patriots do what they do, and then what happens? They go in and it's like, hey man, it's kind of. I think the Patriots to me now are like the relief pitchers, the famous relief pitchers for the Yankees, right? You wake them up and like, hey man, the postseason's here. Can you go win 2 games for us? We got to buy the first round. And they're like, let me get out. Yeah, I got you, man. We'll win these 2 games. And they just roll in, and they weren't the same team that lost to the Dolphins and the Lions earlier in the year and all the Titans. They're just not the same team. And they find a way to get in, and then they out scheme everybody, and it's annoying. I'm kind of tired of it, honestly.
Now, I'll admit the Patriots during the Super Bowl were essentially the same team I saw when they played the Vikings. I didn't think there was that much difference there. Now, the Rams were not the same team as they were when they played Minnesota.
Nah.
So, yeah, watching that Super Bowl is a little hard because if you were a Vikings fan and you only really watched those 2 teams based on those 2 games, you were like, what? What is this?
I saw a lot of people, I empathize with that. People were saying the Super Bowl was boring. It was boring to watch because we were so used to all these points this year. But if you break it down and actually break down football and see the schemes and the way the defenses just matched against these offenses here, it was pretty interesting. But overall, 16 points versus the whole year of football we just had, it was pretty boring. But
casual fans are going to hate that.
Yeah, correct. All the people that just show up for the Super Bowl party for the food and the booze, they're going to complain about it. It is what it is. I do.
You know who else are going to complain? SpongeBob fans. I admit, I don't watch SpongeBob, but I really did watch everybody be mad.
Yeah, they did him dirty this year. That's not the way you intro SpongeBob.
No, you guys are right, though. Someone's got to step up, and they've just got to dethrone and beat New England. Like, you can't wait for Bill Belichick and Tom Brady to make a mistake, because, spoiler alert, it should be pretty clear at this point, that's not going to happen.
They did. Patriots made mistakes.
Well, I mean, yeah, because Tom Brady got sacked, and he threw an interception.
And they still won in dominating fashion.
Yeah.
Right. If the Rams had a little bit more offense, man, they had plenty of opportunity to take advantage, and their offense just couldn't get it together.
Did they ever say anything on why Todd Gurley wasn't used much?
Is he? I think he's hurt. He must be hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt. I think it was going back to the New Orleans game. Yeah, he got hurt, so they were like pretty cautious with him.
Yeah. Because he was a weapon that they should have been able to just use in so many situations. He's a game changer.
I'm a big fan of Todd Gurley, and yeah, something was up for him to not be getting any touches.
I'm going to be the typical
as many as he should have.
Oh, sorry, man. Your internet stopped in a minute.
No, you're fine. Go for it.
I'll be the typical fan douchebag here and say I love Todd Gurley because he was my fantasy leader this year. But he apparently got hurt like late in the season and kind of wasn't the same. But that has to be the only reason I can think of because he's just a volume runner, and then he's great in the pass game too. I can't figure it out because he's healthy enough to be on the field, but you can obviously see he just wasn't himself. So I don't know. We can already take bets for next year's Super Bowl if you really wanted, but that can't. I wonder how that comes out like the 2 hours after the Super Bowl's over.
If I give my prediction for next year, we're gonna get hate mail. We don't need that.
I love how it comes out like 2 hours after, and it's the betting lines and who's going to be number one. And
because the Chiefs are the favorite right now, right?
They are.
I think so.
But I don't think. I think. Yeah, I think it's going to be the Saints this year.
We'll see if they stop crying by the time the new season starts.
Are you going with the Saints under Drew Brees, or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Brees ain't going to retire anytime soon. Just like Tom Brady ain't. Now Gronk, I do think Gronk's going to retire.
Yeah, I think Gronk's done.
He's going to go party with some high school kids with Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh God, that's so
wow.
At least you didn't go with Lawrence Taylor.
Jeez.
There you go.
dark turns here on the Purple People podcast.
Sorry, I thought that was stupid. Like, if you want to party, you're a millionaire. What's he doing asking in one of his press conferences for, oh, we're the college parties? Like, you're a grown-ass adult, dude.
Dude, I don't care. You can take the bro out of the college, but you can't take the college out of the bro. You just can't. I love it. He's a polar bear that knows how to play football. He just lives on instinct. He's like, oh, beer, no football today, drink beer. Like, he's just a caveman.
Yeah.
All right, so are we going to start doing the social media questions about which free agents should stay and go, do one each week?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good idea, Adam.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, when you guys want to head that up, that'd be great.
Let's do that this week. Do you got any ideas who you want to start with? Should we do Latavius Murray, since we talked about him?
Let's
do Latavius Murray. We can jump into Anthony Barr next week. We can get the list going and see if they want him to go, stay, all that fun stuff. We run a social media page on pretty much every platform. We have YouTube. We have Facebook. I run the Instagram account. We have Twitter. You can find us on iTunes, too, if you like the show and you want to listen.
It's true.
It's everywhere.
Lots of good places to listen. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but Sunday, AMC premiere allowed people to watch the mid-season premiere of The Walking Dead. And on AMC, it will air on Sunday. So it's an exciting time to be a fan of AMC's Undead Zombie shows. Tune in, check it out. Check us out on Undead Walking. Let us know what you think of what's going on, because this is a pretty crazy time if you are a fan of those shows. And it's going to be a lot going down.
Very cool. And I think they're finishing up the Telltale Walking Dead game.
They are. March we'll see the final episode of the final season. So
yeah, and they're doing, for people like me who need to get caught up, they're releasing it all in like one big bundle that you can buy.
And those who have the Xbox Game Pass will have the first game in the series for free.
Very cool.
Now, I know that you guys are Vikings fans if you're listening here. So the Viking Age, we got content coming out all the time. We're going to be speculating a lot about free agency, the draft, team structure, looking back, looking ahead, and just having a good time talking about the Vikings. So the Viking Age app on your phone or whatever, thevikingage.com if you're on your laptop. We've got content. Check it out, please.
It is my go-to website for Vikings news because I like it, because everything is like organized in one like easy to go to spot. Like, you don't have to sift through a bunch of bullshit and a bunch of videos I don't want to watch. And like, here's an article.
NFL.com and then find your team.
Right.
And then go to these ESPN writers who have to be politically correct. The thing that I like about where Adam writes is they're going to give you some stuff that it might make you a little mad. It might make you think outside the box. And I'm not saying that these guys don't do their research, but think about how big the Twitter sphere is. Maybe someone hears a rumbling. You can hear firsthand stuff from places like Twitter and beat writers and all this other stuff, and you can get the inside scoop on things that aren't being nationally reported, which is super cool if you nerd out on the Vikings like we do. So
and starting a conversation is really the major thing.
Yeah.
Get Vikings fans talking to other Vikings fans about what's going on. See what the feel is around the fandom. To me, that's a lot more fun. When I come out with something, giving my opinions on a situation, and like when I wrote my article about what the Vikings should do for a backup quarterback this year.
Yeah,
Trevor Siemian's a free agent. They've got Kyle Sloter, who may or may not be ready, and they got options in the draft, free agency, or whatever. And I laid out each of my options, gave an example of what I thought they would do if they went that route, and then I gave my example of what I would do in that situation. And I think that's a lot of fun because people can agree or disagree with me. They can give their opinion on things. They can maybe let me look at things from a different way. And I think it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely does spark conversation.
I got to keep complimenting you guys. I think you guys do a good job of when you do opinion pieces. They are clearly labeled as like, this is an opinion article for this writer. And there's a lot of other bigger websites that try to pass opinion pieces off as
I hate that.
As factual pieces. And I That's not cool to me. Like, I'll gladly read someone's opinion piece on the Vikings, but it needs to be labeled as this is what this writer's opinion is, and not like this is fact for what's going to happen. Like, I think that's what's cool about the Viking Age.
Oh yeah, we love doing that. We love every opportunity of it. Like, I'm gonna have a piece coming out in the morning about who the Vikings should sign for a punter this year. Because guess what? Matt Wild's a free agent. So we're going to be looking at a new punter / holder.
Who was the one that we cut? Just bring him back because he was actually fine.
Yeah, man, that's something you didn't think you'd ever say. Like, man, I miss our punter.
Yeah.
Weird.
Was it Trevor Simeon? Trevor Simeon? No. Who the fuck was the punter?
No, Trevor Simeon's the backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Jeff Locke.
Jeff Locke.
Oh, wow, we're going way back. All right.
No, not Jeff Locke. The one that
who did we bring in after Jeff?
Who the hell was the?
I don't know, man.
I don't remember.
While you think about that, I'm going to do a shameless plug for the company I'm working for right now. And I'm just going to tell you straight up, if you're not a police officer in the state of North Carolina, you're probably not going to buy a police dog from us. And if you're not living here, you're probably not going to get your pet trained here as well. But you can help us boost the numbers because I'm kind of running that social media page too for the guy that I'm working for. And I got the thing right here, NCK9 LLC. We're on Instagram. We have a Facebook page. Give us a like, please, on those platforms. Just to grow a small business. I work for a guy named Jim, and he's a great, great dog trainer. He was a canine handler in the police world for a while. You guys know I'm a canine handler and trainer in the military for like 7 years now. Just grow this page and help out a small business because what we're doing over here is pretty cool. And you can get a snapshot because we post stuff daily over there. So you got so much going on. So
absolutely.
It was Ryan Quigley.
Ryan Quigley. I was just
well, yeah, he went the whole season without having a touchback.
There you go. Bring him back.
I wouldn't have been able to guess that if you gave me $1 million.
You guys. All right. On that note, I think does anyone have anything else they'd like to plug? No, Mr. West, you're not going to plug your podcast?
I suppose I could. I probably should. I don't know. I hate plugging stuff. Dorian.
Every week, man. And I love the name of the show. And you talk about every week, but you're just like, who gives a shit?
It's called Shut Up, I Like This, where we talk about movies. We do all kinds of different genres. We try to cover all the different genres, all the different movies and stuff that we like. And we try to pick ones that are like, there's no one else on the internet is talking about this movie, and why? Because it's really good and it's really cool. And like, fuck Rotten Tomatoes because they hate. Like, every time I like a movie, you go to Rotten Tomatoes and you're like, it's 20% of the critics only like the movie, and it's like 80% audience score. Like, what the hell's that shit? Like, that's ridiculous. So you can check that out. That's Shut Up, I Like This. And then Dorian and I have some junk going on too. We're going to be doing wrestling related stuff.
Yes.
You tell them what we're doing next, Dorian. Ready to Rumble stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, like Kyle said, it's called Rumble Talk. We did our first show, a couple of weeks back?
Way too fucking long.
Right. Where we reviewed both NXT TakeOver Phoenix as well as the Royal Rumble that just passed. And like Kyle said, maybe tomorrow or the next day or so, we're going to review Ready to Rumble.
The old WCW
movie, Ready to Rumble.
Classic.
Oh my God, with David Arquette?
With David Arquette, yes.
Dude, hey, I swear to God, I'll be on there if you guys will have me. I fucking love that movie growing up so much.
If you want to watch the movie and come on in, go for it. There is a lot of poop jokes in this movie.
Yes.
A lot. There is more poop jokes than you remember in this thing.
The best part of that movie is the gas station in the beginning. It's like, yeah, there's something wrong with butt slushies.
Yeah, okay, that's it.
I'm sorry.
So dumb. It's so good. It's so dumb. I love it.
That was Napoleon Dynamite before Napoleon Dynamite came out.
Oh, man. You just gave it a lot of credit, dude.
Yes, you did.
I'm just saying.
Well, I think that's all we have to talk about this week. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us here live in the chat. as well as those who listen on iTunes, PodOMatic, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, wherever you find us.
What is a
We are
Stitcher?
everywhere. Just another way to distribute podcasts. Yeah, it's everywhere, man.
Mhm.
Podcasts is everywhere. Interact with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Give us thumbs up, like, subscribe, because we like that stuff. Makes us feel good. And stay classy, Minnesota.